Hello again, everybody. This is Stuff and Things, bringing you another exciting match in the Mega Man 1 All Stages Tournament. Today we have adef and VonRufiou going to go at it for 2 or 3 races, depending on what goes down. This should be a good matchup. adef is looking for another win. He had a great race earlier today. It's been a day full of races, and VonRufiou is hoping to improve, and we'll improve with his times. He's been doing really well lately and improving, but adef is seated #1 in his group, so that is VonRufiou will be a little bit of an underdog here, but you know, we love underdogs. So we'll be getting things going in just a little bit. Stick with us and we will get this race started. And looks like the racers are getting ready in the SRL chat, so in just a matter of seconds, we should be getting this thing fired off. And away we go. And they are both starting with the Cutman stage. So when they get to elect, we are going to see them go for the magnet beam grab, doing some zips there. Good first couple of screens there. Just about frame perfect at the moment. Nope, VonRufiou takes a bullet, so that's going to change things a little bit. On this next screen, they're going to be coming up on the first of the very difficult corner jumps in this game. adef getting it on the first try. VonRufiou as well, well done. That's a tricky little jump. It's really tight to get around that corner. If you miss it, a lot of players will elect to run around and go through the slower path. Now they're into the Susie section. I don't know why these eyeball thingies are called Susies, but that's just what we call them. And there's a certain amount of RNG with them. They have a certain, they have set patterns, but there are a number of patterns that they can give you. Some are good, some are bad. VonRufiou getting the good patterns there, and you can see what the difference is. Almost sneaks through that final Susie. adef does glitch his way through. And so we are nice and even through this cut stage. Good work. adef gets a nice jump from the big guy there, and so does VonRufiou. VonRufiou's a touch behind now because he went to go get a life refill, but that's not a bad idea. I didn't look exactly at where his life was, but if you have 10 life and you go risk it all against that big eye does 10 damage, so that big eye, sometimes we call him Big Red, because he's the gatekeeper of runs many times, where you take that gamble and you go to see if you'll get that 50-50 and get through the big eye, or if he will end your run. adef finishing off Cutman. VonRufiou shortly behind. Looking good. They're going to be heading into elect stage next. It's a vertical stage. It has a lot of jumps and ladder climbs, a lot of tricky strats to make your movements as efficient as possible to take less time. And at about the middle of the stage, they have to go pick up the magnet beam, and we're going to see some glitchy, zippy things happen there. They're going to have to go through walls and do a bunch of weird movements to get the magnet beam from its house where it would normally live. Normally you need Gutsman's power to get to it, but these guys are going to do it without. VonRufiou really cleaned through the sliders there, catches up a little bit. Only about one screen separates these two runners right now. And now these Yoku blocks are pretty easy, and here's the nasty corner jump of the game. adef gets it on his first try. If you fall off of that one, you lose about 12 seconds because you have to come back up and try again. VonRufiou gets it first try as well. Really nice work there. So adef coming up on the magnet beam. If you don't know, if you've never seen this before, when they go into this little box to get the magnet beam, if Mega Man goes all the way in there and doesn't touch the right wall anymore, he will soft block the game because you can't get out of there anymore. There's no way to remove the blocks to get yourself out. If you don't have Guts power and you find yourself in that room, it is a soft block and you have to reset the game. But both players making it in and out really nicely. And now they're going to use the magnet beam on the rest of the stage to make things go a little faster, be able to take some shortcuts around some blocks, jump up ladders instead of climbing them, which is much faster. And after they pass this big eye here, adef getting a nice jump from the big eye, this is the elect climb. VonRufiou falling off of a beam there. Taking a death. He will go back a little ways. The checkpoint is a ways back in this stage. That's unfortunate. So adef's using the magnet beam here to get past these zappers and up this ladder a lot faster than you would if you had to just climb it and dodge the zappers. And Cutman is usually, or not Cutman, but Electman, using Cutman's power is usually a pretty easy fight. It only takes 3 hits to take him down. adef was using the select glitch there to do extra damage. If you're not sure what that was, normally in this game when you hit a boss, they have iframes, a period when they're invulnerable. What you can do is, as soon as you hit them with a projectile, you can hit the select button, which pauses the game. When you hit the select button again, you unpause the game. But when you unpause the game, the iframes of the enemies go away, so they can get hit multiple times by that same projectile because now they are vulnerable again. So if you're good at pushing the select button with the right timing, you can take down bosses very quickly. adef running over the water in ice stage there. There is a zip that he could try there. He is going to try this zip. And he's got it. Screen wraps down. And that skips a Yoku block section that nobody ever wants to do. So that's a really nice, saving some time and just saving some annoyance as well. adef not going for the second or last zip in the ice stage there. He only has 1 beam at the moment, so I think he's going to save that. Maybe he's going to try 1 corridor zip at the end of the stage here. VonRufiou is making his way to Electman again. Or not again, he hasn't been here yet. That almost looked like the right pixel to me for adef to get a corridor zip, but I think it ended up being 1 pixel too low. And VonRufiou does finish off Electman. There's that select glitch again on Iceman. Only 3 hits with the Elect Beam, or the Thunderbolt, I think I heard it called. There's a couple different names for it, but the Elect Power makes short work of Iceman, which is great because if you had to fight him the old-fashioned way with Buster, it takes quite a while. I think the Buster shots only do 1 damage against Iceman, so you want to use those weapons, unless you're a Buster-only person. Gonna see some zips out of adef in Fire Stage. There's the first one, get through that wall. That saves quite a bit of walking. He also gets the little, it's like the mini corridor zip there. That's a nice place to find a zip. VonRufiou going for the ice zip. It looks like he's got the pixel, and he's got it. Nicely done. That pixel is hard to find. If you've not tried this before, getting that beam to land in the right spot to set up the zip, it is a pixel-perfect trick. If you're 1 pixel high or 1 pixel low, it does not work. adef getting another zip in fire, so he's going to save a little bit more time there because he just does a couple of screen wraps instead of dropping down and using the pit to activate the zip. Gets kissed by a fireball there on his way out. VonRufiou using beams to go over the big eye, a nice safe strategy, guaranteeing that you don't get hit and you don't get knocked back. adef on the final fire zip here. This one has a little bit of risk to it. He pulls it off really nicely and really quickly too. If you set that zip up as you wrap up to the next screen, you can end up on the wrong pixel, and if you do end up on the wrong pixel, when you go to do the zip, you actually just fall down through the screen and you die. VonRufiou select glitching Iceman down. And that select glitch, really a good tool here against Fireman. Fireman's a tricky one. Most players are going to fire 2 projectiles to take him down. It's hard to get him in one because the timing of the select glitch and the movement of Fireman make it really hard to only use 1 projectile to take Fireman down. VonRufiou is going for the zip pixel here. It's a tricky one. He's got it. There he goes. He had a couple beams high and a couple beams low. He's got it. He goes for the corridor zip, but it's a touch low. Using beams to bounce up the rest of that fire screen there, and using beams here as well. adef onto Bomb Man. VonRufiou doing the simpler setup for this zip here. You drop off of something quickly into that pit and you'll zip through those walls there. adef had the upper setup for it, so it's a little quicker to do it that way, but it's a much more difficult beam placement. Just dropping into the pit off of a beam is really easy. Sometimes we do it accidentally, you don't even mean to, and you get a zip for it. VonRufiou on the big fire zip, and he's got it. Again, that's the dangerous one. You can die attempting that one. adef is coming up to the bomb zip area. He's going to go for a left side setup on the ladder. Now this is a good setup because you can use the ladder as a visual aid to guarantee that you're putting your beams in the right place. Some people will set that zip up on the right side, but you have to jump and place the beam just perfectly, kind of like you do in Ice Stage and some other places. So a smart strategy there to set it up a little safer. You probably lose very little time, maybe 2 seconds. That's just a guess though, I'm not really sure. And another good opportunity to use the select glitch to take down Fireman. VonRufiou is invisible. He's taken down Fireman. adef is fighting Bomb Man. There's too many elements going on here. Fire, ice, we got everything. adef is onto Gutsman, and this is the other way that some of us play this game, is that you start with Gutsman. It's a short stage, it's pretty simple, and you can get through it quickly, so then you end with Bomb. But if you go this route, when you start with Cut, you end with Gutsman, and the advantage there is now adef is using beams to get through Gutsman. That speeds things up quite a bit. You're not at the mercy of those platforms he just got past, and there are some zips that you can attempt as well. Another spot here where adef is, you don't have to worry about these miners. You just stay on the top of the screen and you just avoid them altogether. There we go. VonRufiou is in Bomb right now. He's going to jump around through some bullets, beam his way up. And VonRufiou will be coming up to the bomb skip area here pretty soon. adef is likely going to try some corridor zips here. There's one. And that other beam was probably just a pixel too high, but he did get 1 zip, so that's pretty nice. VonRufiou doing the ladder setup as well. Gets the zip, no problem. There we go. adef is in the blocks somehow. That's actually kind of unfortunate. Oh, it looks like he knows what to do with it though, because normally when you throw your bombs at Bomb Man, you're up on top of those rocks. adef must have damage boosted into the room, which causes you to zip into the blocks there. Throwing his bomb, he put it in the right place where Gutsman needed to be. He also did get the swag grab, even though he's invisible, so we wouldn't know now. VonRufiou taking down Bomb Man nicely. He's going to be doing Guts next to finish things off. So there's only 1 stage separating these 2 runners right now, and actually it's a short stage. If it's just Guts, that's one of the shortest stages in the game. Now, it looks like adef is going to go... Actually, I don't know. He has ice right now. adef's going to go for safety. No, he is... No, yeah, he switched to... I thought he was switching to beam there, but he switched to elect. So he is taking the safer route. There is a zip you can do at the beginning of Wily 1, but it is a very tricky one with pixel-perfect beam placements. If you fail it, you use up a lot of beam ammo, which is a problem later on. I guess it's a problem no matter what, because even if you use up all that ammo, you still have to figure out what to do with your beams later on. VonRufiou running past the platforms. He hits that platform at the exact moment when it dips down because of the lousy, those little gaps there when the platforms drop. The only good thing about that death is, well, there's two good things. One, he wasn't that far into the stage. He's going to reset this beam. He wasn't that far into the stage, so hopefully that's not going to be a gigantic penalty for him. The second thing is, he hit the continue screen because he's died enough times. So by continuing, he's got 3 lives again, which is good because you need at least 1 life left over when you get to the end game, when you get to Wily 4 and you want to do the Bomb Man skip, because you have to take a death to get the skip to happen. If you don't have a life for that, you will continue and you will go back to the beginning of the Wily 4 stage. So, in a way, that's sort of good for VonRufiou that he's already done his continue. adef's going to take down the Yellow Devil with the select glitch. This is the biggest advantage of the select glitch right here. If you don't use the select glitch on the Yellow Devil, he has to go back and forth across the room a number of times, and each iteration of that takes quite a bit of time. To do the select glitch there saves you a good minute in speedruns. So if you do glitchless, you're going to automatically be a minute slower just because of the way you have to fight the Yellow Devil. VonRufiou gets a nice bomb there. 3 hits to take down Gutsman. adef is at the beginning of Wily 2. And he's going to drop right down and fight Cutman with the Buster, so we're not going to see any Wily 2 skips on this. The Wily 2 zips are probably the hardest ones in the game. I don't even try those. They look impossible. You have to get a pixel-perfect beam to start the thing, and then a bunch of frame-perfect jumps and wiggle-type things. I don't even know what the commands are, but it's really, really difficult. Not long ago, we saw Cool Kid do some in one of his races, and yeah, it's definitely a professional-level kind of trick. VonRufiou starting his Wily stage. Going to freeze these big guys, which is a great way to get through, because they do a ton of damage. You can only take 2 hits from big eyes and still survive. If you take a 3rd hit from a big eye, you will die. So VonRufiou damage boosts through the 3rd one, which is the fastest way through. So his health is good. He gets through those Cheetos really quickly. Those are those flamin' Cheetos. So VonRufiou with a nice start to Wily 1. This is about as clean as you can do it if you're not going to do the zip. adef getting the zip in Wily 2, coming back out of the wall. That's a tricky spot because if you can't get back out of the wall and you wiggle yourself down too low, there are some invisible spikes that will get you killed. And VonRufiou in the platform room. This is a nightmarish room. These platforms move with complete RNG. That was nicely done there. And they can really mess up your day if they get in your way or move suddenly in a direction you didn't want. VonRufiou using a couple of extra beams to get through there. That's going to hurt him a little bit later. He probably does have enough ammo for everything he needs, but it's going to be tight. adef is in the clone fight. And everyone I've seen, except for Buster-only folks, use fire to take down the clone. The fire shield is a valuable tool as well as the fireball that you shoot, so it is most likely the best tool to take down the clone. I've heard that you can do it a couple other ways, but none of them are as easy as fire. VonRufiou trying to get all his beams in there. That's actually really well done. He had to jump and throw an elect shot 3 times. But he's using select glitch well enough that that it worked out for him. He didn't see the Yellow Devil dash across the room and go to the other side, which is what really hurts. He loses a lot of time. adef trying to set his beams for this Wily 3 zip, using some ammo, but he still has plenty. And VonRufiou in a spot of the game that I hate. The first jump in Wily 2 is terrifying. There's a couple ways to do it. You can use the select glitch. You can also land perfectly on the platform before that little propeller head and try to shoot him before he runs into you. But no matter what strategy you use, it's very tight in there. It's not a lot of fun. adef is going to be going for some dupes. And looks like he had him because he took down the final bubble with blocks. If you've not seen that before, the dupe trick is that when you throw the block with Gutsman's power and those little pieces of it leave the screen, when the last one leaves the screen on that last frame, if you push B, you get another block for free out of nowhere. It's magic. So it's a really difficult trick because it is a frame-perfect thing, but it does save you time in that fight that we just saw against the bubbles, because if you can take them down with those blocks, it only takes one hit, whereas busters, you have to shoot them, I think, 10 times, 10 bullets. It's quite a few. adef doing the Wily 4-zip. Oh, I hate it when that happens. That is not a lot of fun. He's going to refill his ammo. He's going to try some more. There it goes. That beam is so finicky. Sometimes he had the beam in the right placement, and it spit him back out to the left for some reason, which is really strange. It happens to all of us every once in a while. And VonRufiou, exactly what I said earlier, was wiggling through the Wily 2-zip, and he couldn't get out of the wall and wiggled himself down a little too low, and there are some spikes that killed him. You couldn't see it, but he did take another death there. adef takes a death on purpose. That's the Bomb Man skip, and when you do the Bomb Man skip, you have to die, but now adef is right in front of Wily's door. He skipped fighting the 4 robots that were back there. adef just needs to burst down the Wily machine now. And this fight is really just a race of how much damage can you do in as little time as possible. You want to jump up and make sure Wily's getting hit with 3 shots of your fire shield there. And adef is going to take this first game. His time looks like a 20:46. SRL is reporting a 20:47, so that's a really great time. Anything under 21 minutes is very, very respectable, and will be a good time in all of these races. So GG adef. VonRufiou finished off the clone. He's got Wily 3 and 4 to finish up. So VonRufiou is going to be going for his Wily 3 beams here, and that's a great beam to place right there. You want to place that beam when you're dropping down from the screen above into that one. He's got to place another beam to activate this zip again, but he's okay. That's the ideal situation, is to just hold B when you're going through a screen transition, and the beam will fire and land in the right spot. You just jump on it and you zip. VonRufiou had to place the beam manually, which is actually pretty hard to do, so the fact that he got it, that's really great. There's a dupe. And there's another dupe. He needs 3 dupes to not use the buster. And we're trying a dupe. He gets it! Clutch dupe! Nicely done. All the dupes in these 2 games. And now just Wily 4 to finish up for VonRufiou. Okay, he took a death there. I think that was on purpose. I think he's, yep, very smart. Very smart. He realized that he didn't have any lives left, that if he's going to try the refight skip, it's not going to work. He's just going to come back to this same point after he continues. So he continues now so that he has lives, so that the refight skip will happen. Got to get this beam placed just right here. There it is. That's a nice zip there. He's going to try the refight skip against Bomb Man. What you want to do is damage yourself on his bomb, and you need to put something on the screen, whether it be your beam or your bomb. You can use bombs too. And then mash the start button, and that sends Mega Man bouncing up and to the side. If you get into the right position, and sometimes it triggers and sometimes it doesn't, but hopefully you're up at the ceiling, you'll do exactly what VonRufiou just did. Screen wrap upwards. The game gets a little confused and pushes you, zips you to the right, and then you die. But luckily, you respawn where they usually do. There's a couple nasty situations where you can, I think we're calling it Tube's Lock now, where you can end up in the ceiling, but you don't do the zip properly, and you're actually stuck up there. It's not a soft lock, because you can get yourself out, but getting out is a piece of work too, because it's a bunch of wiggles and jumps and timing things. So you can still finish the game, but it's pretty difficult. VonRufiou finishes off Wily. There's a 24-16. SRL's reporting a 24-20. So GG VonRufiou. And we will see how ready the players are and how soon we go into game number 2. So stick with us. In case you're looking for some more Mega Man 1 action, we have a couple of more matches later on this evening. At 10 o'clock Eastern, Casio is going to take on Fuzz Distor, and at 10:30 Eastern, Colonel Fatso is going to take on adef. So adef is just knocking out all his matches right away. That's pretty impressive to do them all in one day. That one looks like it's going to be on Speed Gaming 3. The Casio Fuzz Distor match, I don't see what channel that one's going to be on. But just keep your eyes open on all of the Speed Gaming channels. Tomorrow, Friday, we've got a couple of matches set up. That's a really interesting time. The schedule says 5 a.m. Eastern for Mr. Cab versus Corvus. And at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have Orsa versus Chimp. And at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have Conster versus Dexter. So some really good matchups tomorrow, and some matchups that we really need to see so that we see how this group stage ends up shaping up here as we get toward the end of all these matches. Really interesting to be speculating about who's moving forward and what position they're going to be in and what the matchups are going to be when we get to the ladder of 16 players. Looks like we're just waiting to record this race, and then we'll get it all set up for the next one. Both players have said that they are ready to go, so we're just waiting for those little technical aspects to get completed. And since we are looking ahead at other matches for the tournament, Saturday, December 23rd at 11 a.m. Eastern, we have Streamline versus Zoda, and that's another matchup that should be really good to watch. Saturday, the same Saturday, the 23rd at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Handsome Jack versus Zoda. So that group looks like that's going to be finishing up the matches there as well. And if you haven't, make sure you follow these two runners. These are two great runners and great guys. We'll get their links over here to their channels. So make sure to shoot them a follow so that you can always keep up on all the Mega Man action. All right, looks like all those little technical things are starting to happen. We're getting the race entered. We should be starting in a minute or two, so don't go anywhere. All right, it does look like those racers are readying up. So just a moment, we will get round 2 fired up. And away we go. Both players getting the same point value for clearing Cutman. Those points are actually important. Not only do you need points to win, not in a race, but the reason that they affect your time is because if you get a large point value when you beat that boss at the end of a stage, the game has to spool up those points that you get awarded. If you get more points, it takes more time to spool everything up. So what you want is it's like golf. We want low points because it'll actually use a little bit less time. VonRufiou nicely with the corner jump. Adef gets the corner jump as well, right behind. I was talking about the select glitch earlier, how you can use that to defeat bosses more quickly. You can also use that as an advantage when Mega Man gets hit by something, because Mega Man gets knocked back, and it's sort of the same effect. If you hit select and then hit select again really quickly, you negate that knockback, so it'll save you time when you get hit by a thing. to hit select twice really fast, because then you don't have that knockback eating up time and pushing you around. VonRufiou picking up that health again, which is a good move because he did take a number of hits. There's a good... I didn't see what his number was, how many bars of life he has, but a good chance that if the big eye decided to hit him, which it just hit adef... Oh, but it jumped over VonRufiou, so VonRufiou catches up a little bit right there. If the big eye would have hit VonRufiou, he probably would have died, and you don't want to die on this first stage. You go back quite a ways for a checkpoint. So still really close as they go into Cutman's room. Mannix with the eagle eye over there said that VonRufiou had 6 hit points before he went and got that health refill. And one right after the other, they both take down Cutman. And there's that spooling up of the points I was talking about. A lot of players will avoid those little point pickups as well. Those little balls, they're sort of orangey peach color. Those give you extra points at the end of the stage. If you can pick up 0 of those, then there's no points to add into your score, and it actually takes less time because there's no little animation adding those points up. I think it's really interesting how all the different runners get through that screen with the 2 sliders. adef jumps up, takes damage on purpose, uses the select glitch, and keeps on moving. VonRufiou jumps up and shoots the first slider, which freezes it, and then does some really precision jump work to get over that one and the following one. He did it really well there. That was exactly how you do it. So it's really cool to see different strats and how different players like to do things. VonRufiou taking a shot from the zapper right at the top of the screen there. That was really unlucky. He loses a little bit of time getting knocked down a ladder. He's going to take the right side on this one, and adef falls off of the corner jump, so VonRufiou is actually going to recapture the lead, especially since this is the safe side. He won't fall off. adef's coming to it for his second time. He's doing the tiptoe strat to go right to the edge, stand on the correct pixel, and then jump and wiggle around that corner. I actually use that strat myself. I think it's wonderful because, yeah, it's a little slow to tiptoe up to the edge of the ledge, but if you can prevent yourself from falling, I think it's worth it. So, good strat by adef there. VonRufiou is going to be the first to come to the magnet beam. So it's going to be all about who can activate this zip and do it cleanly. There's so many precision inputs that need to be done here. They grab the mag beam really close to the same time. adef got the whole process done a little bit faster. He's recaptured the lead, but it's only by about 2 seconds. And I think I've said before, I love this part as well. When you have the magnet beam and you're going through the rest of Elec, everybody does this a little bit differently. And I don't know if there's any clear winner on what the absolute best strat is, what you should do and save the most time. I just really like seeing the variation here and what people like to do. adef is the first to come to Big Eye. He gets stomped on. Big Eye's not helping this time. VonRufiou gets stomped on as well. Those Big Eyes are in cahoots, slowing these runners down, taking their life. So adef's strategy to get up the zappers is to place a beam, take damage. VonRufiou does it, it's pretty much the same way. That was really nice. He uses a select glitch to not get knocked down the ladder by that top zapper. adef is already at Elecman's room. Gonna just make sure he gets hit 3 times with the cut blade, and he's done. VonRufiou makes it there. And 3 hits as well. Elecman is one of those bosses where you don't really need this select glitch to take him down any faster, because as the cut blade boomerangs around and hits Elecman for the second time, it's right after he comes out of iframe. So it's really, unless you're really, really strong and solid at your select glitch, you're just shooting through 2 blades and then a 3rd hit on Elecman is just as fast. So VonRufiou keeping up quite a bit more this time. He had the lead there for a little while. adef is running across the water. He's not going to try that first zip. We know the players are going to zip here. Looks like adef has the right pixel. He zips across. VonRufiou is coming across the water as well. Same play. Didn't go for the first zip. Is going for the beam setup. First try from VonRufiou to get the setup beam. Really nice. So VonRufiou is going to have a good amount of beam. Let's see what he does with it here, because you can either just get yourself across this gorge with these platforms, or you can drop down and get the refill so that you can try for the next zip. VonRufiou is going to run straight across. This is an interesting section in Iceman, because if you run straight across like that, you save about 2 seconds from not dropping down to get the refill. But you also don't get to do the next zip, so, you know, kind of balances out. Like, I think if you do get the zip and you get it really quickly, you're going to save time. But VonRufiou's safe strategy there. adef moonwalking into the room, getting some swag points. Taking down Iceman with the glitch. VonRufiou is not far behind. And he does get the select glitch. I was worried that that elect beam was drifting past Iceman a little too far, but it worked out. So now the zip's on fire stage. This is going to be very critical. adef wants to keep his lead. VonRufiou wants to catch up. adef gets the first zip on the first try. He gets the little hallway zip first try. Clutch beam work right there. And beautiful jumps up through the fiery Cheetos. Takes VonRufiou a couple of tries, but he does get it. That's the important part. You just don't want to walk around. Walking around takes a lot more time. adef getting the top screen wrap zip there again. adef's had a really solid fire stages in this race and the previous one. And here comes the big fire zip. adef is out really quickly. He has a quick setup there. Some people hold the beam a lot longer. VonRufiou is a little stuck in the ceiling trying to activate this zip. You have to fall into that pit with a certain amount of velocity. And so you have to jump off of a beam or some other sort of setup. There is one other thing you can do. Apparently you can jump into the pit with about a 5/8 size jump. I think I heard Kyle Precise talking about that. I think the Buster only people do that strategy. I don't think VonRufiou has enough beams. No, he only has 2 left, so he can't do the big fire zip. He ate up some beams, so he's going to walk around here. This is going to hurt him a little bit. This is at least 5 seconds of a loss. He's taking a lot of damage as well. When he gets to Fireman, yeah, he's in danger now. When he gets to Fireman, I think he can only safely take 1 shot from Fireman in the state that he's in right now. Oh, he does sneak through the fireballs. That was a very nice jump there. adef moving on to Bomb Man. Now let's see if VonRufiou can get through this fight with only 1 hit from fire. Check for the troll flame. Oh, he made it. Okay. I don't know if you savvy listeners could hear that, but VonRufiou's, you can hear the beeps, because we have VonRufiou's sound right now. You can hear the beeps when he's turning the select glitch on and off. When he was doing it really fast, it wasn't actually working. There's a certain rhythm to it where you have to allow enough time between the 2 presses of select for the projectile to move. I'm guessing it's at least a pixel, but it has to move some fraction for the boss to take additional damage. So that's why it's so difficult. It's a lot more difficult than so many runners make it look. You can't just pick it up and mash select a whole bunch. That doesn't actually work. adef doing the ladder setup on the bomb zip. Gets it really clean. So he's got a bigger lead now on VonRufiou. VonRufiou having to walk there in fire, that's setting him back. adef finishes off Bomb Man nicely there. VonRufiou is at the bomb zip. He's also doing the ladder setup. You're looking for Mega Man's hand or foot to know when you're on the right pixel to spit a beam out to the side. And then the rest of it is usually pretty simple. There is a sub-pixel issue with setting that beam off the ladder. Some people will set 2 beams right away, because if you get sub-pixeled and the beam doesn't actually connect to the ladder, and if you go to jump on it, you can just fall right off and you land on those unfortunate spikes. So it is usually an easy zip, except when it's not. adef is cruising through Gutsman. He's already down toward the bottom. VonRufiou is keeping up a bit more this time. Last time, I think it was at this point that adef was finishing off Gutsman when VonRufiou was starting Gutsman, and I was saying they were about a stage apart. VonRufiou's catching up a little bit. adef gets one of the corridor zips there. Just the one for now. VonRufiou took an unfortunate death here last time because of the platform and the way it dumped him down. He gets through this time, and he sneaks right through those propeller heads. That was really nice. adef using a second bomb on Gutsman because the couldn't get the 3 hits with the first bomb. So if VonRufiou can get a very clean... Oh, he takes that hit from the hammer right at the screen transition. This is bad. He could hit these spikes. And he does. That's VonRufiou is getting like these frame-perfect unlucky situations. Luckily, he was at the checkpoint, so he doesn't lose that much time, but unfortunately he's not going to gain any time on adef. That lousy miner got that hammer on him just at the last moment that he possibly could. VonRufiou trying some corridor zips. First 2 beams were just a touch low. And remember, that is a pixel-perfect trick. You have to get the beam to stop right on the correct pixel for the zip to actually work. And VonRufiou does get the 3 hits on Bomb Man. That's what I was about to say before VonRufiou fell on the spike, was that if VonRufiou gets a clean kill on Gutsman, he would actually gain a little time on adef, because adef struggled with the first bomb. adef at the dreaded platform room. He gets a good pattern. If those platforms stay low and out of your way and you're going high with your beams, that's most of the time that's a very good situation. adef gets the 2 beam right side part of that room. That's really hard to do. Some precision beaming work there. adef is again going to make quick work of the Yellow Devil with the select glitch. VonRufiou with a nice little sneak past that last Big Eye there, so he saves a little bit of life. Well, a lot of bit of life, because it's 10 damage if you hit a Big Eye. Now he's stuck in the Fiery Cheetos. I hate this section of the game. Those Fiery Cheetos are really, really nasty. And that corner jump that you're trying to do there twice in a row, in fact, is just as hard as any other corner jump. It's pretty nasty. adef moving on to Wily 2. If VonRufiou's careful, his life is low, but he should be okay if he doesn't take a bunch of other hits. And he does sneak past some bullets on the platforms. Wow, that was agile. That was nice. And he gets up the ladder really well. That was a good platform room. adef with the second cut dance. VonRufiou a little bit low on beam again. He has enough for what he needs for the rest of the game, but he's going to have to be really precise and not waste any more. VonRufiou going to burst the Yellow Devil down with the select glitch. Oh, the beam there was not cooperative. He does still get the Yellow Devil in the first pattern, and he's really lucky for that, because when the Yellow Devil moves to the other side of the room, he breaks into pieces and dashes by really quickly, and it's really easy to get hit by those. So, nice sigh of relief for VonRufiou making it through the end of the stage there. adef getting some of the zip there from Wily2. He's going into the clone fight. adef will be moving on to Wily3. VonRufiou's about halfway through Wily2. He's done with the 2 refights that are in this stage. adef missing the beam setup there on the screen transition, trying some more. He's a little bit low on beams now. He's going to hope he wiggles out of this wall just right to get this beam transition perfect. Sets one, and that is a clutch beam right there. If he would have missed the placement of that beam, he would have only had 1 left, so he would have had a choice of trying it one more time and having 0 beams, or taking the Walk of Shame. So that was very, very tight. And adef's going to have to buster down 2 bubbles here. Not as lucky with the dupes this time. And you can see how much longer it takes to take down bubbles with Buster, especially the late bubbles that move really quickly. VonRufiou taking the clone down. So it is a closer race this time. A stage of about the length of Wily3 separates these 2 runners right now. adef still has a nice lead going into Wily4, so he is in command still. VonRufiou going for the first setup here to get both zips in Wily3. When he wiggles out of this wall, he wants to set a beam. Okay, he's going to jump and set it. And that, I don't know how these guys do that. Get those beams placed just perfectly like that in a jump. That's very hard to do. They make it look easy, but trust me, it's a lot harder than it looks. adef making quick work of Wily4, gets the refight skip quickly, got the zip. VonRufiou's going to go for some dupes. There's one. Last chance. Just 1 dupe for each of them. For some reason, they are matched on how they can dupe in this game. adef is just going to burst down the Wily machine in the final fight here. And there we have it. adef with a 2036. SRL is also reporting a 2036, and SRL is saying that that is a race PB for adef by 2 seconds. So congrats, adef, and GG. adef taking this match 2 wins, and so he is going to be finishing up his match. I think I said that it was later today. Nice. VonRufiou gets the beam set up there for the zip on the first try. VonRufiou really did solidify his game here a little bit in this second game. A lot fewer mistakes, a lot fewer deaths. He's got to be happier with this run because he's doing a much better job. He gets the exit from Bomb Man there, so he's on pace for a nice time here still. Now VonRufiou is just going to burst down the wily machine. It looks like he's not going to be able to keep this at a 21. That would have been really nice. It's going to be a low 22. And there we have it, 2207 SRL. For some reason is reporting a... Oh wait, no, I'm seeing the wrong line. A 2211. And for VonRufiou, that is a race PB by over 2 minutes. His old race PB was 24:15, and now he has a 22:07. So GG VonRufiou, nice improvement on the race time there. That's really great, really great. Unfortunately, everyone out there listening, I have to run. I do not have a lot of time. I was really tight on this. I wasn't originally going to do some commentary because I knew I was super tight, but no one was able to do it, so I figured I would jump in. I'm not going to be able to do interviews. I have to run. Thank you so much for having me here. GG, adef, and VonRufiou, some great races and some good stuff, and very impressive. Good improvements on both your race PBs. That's really cool. Great to see. Yeah, so keep tuning in, everybody, to Speed Gaming channels for the rest of the Mega Man 1 group stage of this tournament. I'll see you guys again soon. Make sure that if you haven't, follow these runners. They're great guys. I'll put their links up one more time. And I will see everybody next time. Thank you so much.